I think Anthony Joshua, I think that he's going to come up the ladder fast. I don't think that it's going to be a long time before he's in a title fight.
Yeah, they're
Well,
gonna
he
have to
already
go
had a
slow.
title fight. He won a title already, but it's not going to be a long time before he's at the top of the ladder. From what I can see, from what I experienced in that training camp, uh, I was impressed by a number of things that he did, of what I won't make note of. He's got some shortcomings as a young fighter. He has some things to learn, but from what I experienced and what I observed, he's going to come up that ladder fast. And I'm talking this time next year, he might be right in the forefront of this division.
I'd say
I don't see him
that might be a bit too quick for him next year. You know.
now. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you what I saw, what I experienced. How many fights does he have now?
I don't know, about 7 or 8 early, is it? Or
No,
seven, eight,
no, no.
nine?
It's like I think it's like in 9 year, about 10-9, like something like that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. This time next year, if they're not afraid to roll the dice, he can be right in the forefront of this thing. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It's looking that way. It's definitely right. Like, and
They're moving them the way they're moving them. I see him having 2 more fights this year.
Yeah, but you see, the heavyweights, they take a little more time to mature than flyweights, you know? I mean, you don't really get a good in general until they're at least 28, 30.
How about George Foreman? How about George Foreman?
Yeah, well, Ali old manned him out of his title, you know? He was inexperienced. He blew himself out, you know? Arguably, people say George was better in his second incarnation.
That time, I'm talking about how long did it take George to come to the forefront of boxing after he turned pro?
a year. I think it was a year or a year. It was a year and a half after he turned in it. Didn't take him that long.
Look at Tim Witherspoon. How long did it take him to come to the forefront of boxing?
It took like 2 years. I think it was like 2 years.
He's only had 8 fights, though, Joshua. 8 fights, 8 KOs against nobody. Not nobody. He's against decent opposition, actually. But, you know, it's 8 fights.
How old is he now?
24.
That's young, man. You're right. But that's like Joe Louis as well. Joe Louis at 25, it's a good age, man. You know, to challenge for the belt.
I tell you something. When you got a guy as athletic as Joshua, that punches like Joshua, that can box, this kid can box a little bit. He's not just your run-of-the-mill beginner here. He has some natural attributes. Of course, there's some things that he's doing wrong, and they'll figure it out, the trainers and themselves. But he has those attributes. Tim Witherspoon, as I've said before, didn't have a big amateur career. In fact, he didn't have hardly any amateur fights. And he managed to fight Larry Holmes in a sturdy 15-round battle in only his 13th or 14th fight.
Yeah.
But let me say this, though. Tim had a great... Slim Robinson was really good job with Tim Witherspoon. I'm not sure if it's Tony Sims. I'm not sure if he's quite there yet. I'm not quite sure, you know.
See, the thing is, he going to the Klitschko camp and mixing with all them guys. That helped. You know what I'm saying? That it's not like the trainer. He's mixing in the sparring with great company. I mean, Stylish Bashir probably said a couple of words to him as well.
I worked with him. I did the mix. I worked the corner with him, and I did the mix with him. Sure, he's going to benefit from that.
Yeah.
He's going to benefit from that, you know? Sure he is. He's going to benefit from that. I mean, he's got to benefit from it. And he's all ears. He's a learner, you know? Dillian White, I shared a lot with him also. I've been with Dillian now maybe 4 or 5 times, and I always share all the information that I have with him. People get to thinking that in life or in the sport that the knowledge that they have belongs to them. But every one of us, every single one of us, come from our mother's womb knowing nothing. Everything that we learn and know is a learned behavior from other human beings. So yeah, Dillian White, Malik Scott, Anthony Joshua, and all of the other countless young men that I've encountered over the years, I always share what I have with them. You know, I'm telling you that this guy Joshua can be a threat in the heavyweight division this time next year because of his natural attributes. Now, what he's going to learn, whoever's training, who's training him?
Is it Tony Sims?
Yeah.
Who?
Tony Sims.
He trained Darren Barker.
I
He's
don't
not
know
a very
about-
big. She's not a very big trainer. Like
Darren Barker's, I think, it's the only one. Then.
did he train Darren Barker to win that title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, if he has any inside knowledge, I'm not going to discredit the guy because I don't know him. Because there's a lot of people who don't know me,
Yeah.
so I won't discredit him. But I'm saying if he has just the basic information, if he has a thorough knowledge of the basic information, that this kid can be a threat this time next year. You know, a guy like that there, I can see. I mean, he's in with the heavyweight champion of the world. He's holding his own.
Yeah. At this stage, they're saying that they're not going to rush him, but
Heavyweight champion of the world.
yeah,
It's holding his own.
they're saying
Yeah,
they're not
so-
going to rush him. But at the way he's accelerating, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to hold him back after next year. To be honest, so
So he was holding his own with the heavyweight champion of the world, is what you're saying, Mr. Bishop?
Yeah. I mean, they clowns. But getting back to Joshua, I think that he's going to be a threat this time next year. Just, I'm thinking, my opinion. You know, sometimes you know, Kenny Rogers said you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. You know, I would let Joshua go. He's got some good things going for him while he's young and strong. He can afford to make mistakes. He's 24. He's 24.
yeah.
I don't see much out there in the heavyweight division that he can make a mistake with.
That's the point.
How many
That's
fights
the
did
truth, though.
They have before he went for the title.
Yeah. I mean, it's
How
not
many-
like the 80s or even the 90s where,
Look at-
there's a slew of dangerous heavyweights waiting around the corner. There's not much there. It seems like, they talk about Andy Ruiz. I don't see Andy Ruiz beating Andy Joshua. Something like if we're talking about prospects, I don't see him beating Andy Joshua.
I let him fight him.
I would too. But then again, I'm not managing him. They're obviously looking after their investment, and they might want to take a little more time.
They don't want him to fight Ruiz. I think him fight Ruiz would be a dynamite fight. I'd love to see that fight.
You've got Anthony Joshua winning it.
Yeah, again after Joshua. Too big, too strong, too powerful. Ruiz wouldn't have a clue as to how to get close to that guy. He's a mammoth of a heavyweight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that fight.
I'd like to see that fight.
Because Ruiz would gamble and try to come forward, and Joshua would be waiting right there with that artillery. Oh, man, it would be nice. I want to get back to the days of the heavyweights when people took chances. Everybody is so interested in having an undefeated record instead of making good fights.
Well, you see, that's the thing with boxing. Like, everyone's looking at the other weights to set the bar, but it's got to be the heavyweights. The heavyweights have to set the bar. You know?
They have to set the bar.
Yeah. 100%.
Everybody is keeping away from everybody. You got guys that got 20 fights that won't fight each other. 25, 30 fights and they won't fight each other. You know? Come out and fight. Give the people, bring back boxing. You know, Ernie Shavers versus Ron Lau. You understand?
Yeah.
You know, Kenny Norton versus George Foreman. This is the fight George Foreman and Kenny Norton fought after Norton lost to Larry Holmes.
Yep.
He could have played it safe, and Norton could have played it safe and took 5 more meaningless fights and fought for Larry Holmes again.
Yep.
But instead, took the bull by the horn and said, "I'll fight George Foreman." Bring back the risk. You know, nobody wants to take risks no more.
Yeah. But they treat people. When they lose, they treat them bad though. Like when the fighters lose, they're treated like outcasts, man. You know, it's like they just treated us like the gates.
You know what? Because the fighters take too long. They lick their wounds too long. Oh, I lost the fight, so I won't fight for 8 months.
Yeah.
No. In the old days, you lost a fight in June, and you were back in there in October.
That's true.
Like, I need to pick your brain on this. You're just the right man. Like, people keep I'm not going to put the fighter's name out there, but they keep resorting to calling a certain fighter out there a throwback fighter, and he hasn't fought an elite fighter. He's had 21 fights. Are there any throwback fighters today?
I think the throwback fighters in any division is the guys that's willing to take risk. Those are the throwback fighters. So, the guys that's willing to take risk. You take a guy like Bernard Hopkins. He's in there with Kovalev, with Tavares Cloud, and the other Asian kid up from Canadian. I can't.
Talking about Pascal.
He's a throwback fighter. He's always in those top fights with these young people. Hopkins can sit around and fight meaningless fights and slide in between here and there and fight, but he's fighting these young guys. You got to get a man. You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, you'd have to look to Hopkins, 50-year-old guy taking on a power puncher and still doing it at a high level. You'd have to look to guys like Hopkins.
But I'm saying to all of the boxers out there in your listening, do you have a listening audience right now?
No, it's not live. It's not live right
now. No,
okay.
We were recording.
All of the boxers out there in your listening audience, if you play this live, if you do play this live, you have to take responsibility for your own career. Every singer, every performer, everybody got to take responsibility for their own career. Either you get me the fights I want, or I'll get somebody else to get them for me, and your job is over. You got to take charge, man. You can't sit back and just let people call shots for your life. If it makes sense, we do it. If it don't make sense, but I'm still the boss. I'm the one going to the ring.
Yeah, but hold on. You're correct. But I asked you that the other day. I said, is it down to the boxers why great fights ain't happening? You said, no, it's the promoters. It is the boxers. It really is. You're right. It's the boxers.
It's the promoters. But the boxers have a certain liability, too. They have a certain responsibility to go to the people who is there. Either you make the fights or I'll go to somebody else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
If you got a promotional contract, you got to play it by ear. But it is a place where boxers tell a promoter, if you can't make these fights for me, then our business is done when the contract is up. You understand? And when you make the contract, you got to have a clause in there saying, I need these kind of fights at this particular point in this contract. I need these kind of fights. I mean, people are tired of watching BS fights where you know who's going to win when they step in the ring.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they have a young guy out there, Julian Williams and the Chuvalo brothers at 54 pounds, light middleweight.
Yeah.
I don't see what the holdup is in making a fight between them. I don't see what the holdup is. The brain trust say, oh, not now, we'll make it for millions of dollars. But what about the fans? You're trying to keep boxing afloat. In the meantime, while you're trying to keep boxing afloat, you're selling BS to the fans, who oftentimes have to pay for this here. I stopped buying pay-per-view. I'm no longer interested in pay-per-view. I saw better fights on NBC, CBS, ABC years ago than I see right now in pay-per-view. In pay-per-view, you'd be lucky if you get one good fight. I stopped buying it. I'll wait for the result the next day. I used to tape record fights. I have dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of tapes home, and the fights is like from 1990 back. I don't even tape modern fights. I don't tape them no more. Yeah. I don't even sit back and watch them no more. I never play them. Because I can't. There's something missing. Nobody wants to take chances. So if you got a guy like Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua's going to fight, then I'm going to pay to watch that. And I don't care.
I'd love to see that fight.
And I don't care if it's just a 10-round fight, ain't a belt. I want to see the fight. All right? I want to see a fight. I don't want to see somebody that's beating a guy in meaningless fights. I don't want to see guys coming in, he's 7-0 in his last fights. In his last 7 fights, he's 7-0 with 5 knockouts. Yeah, well, who were the people he knocked out? I don't want that. I'm a boxing purist. I want to see fights, man. I'm a boxing fan as well as I'm a boxing trainer, a boxing teacher, a boxing professor. I want to see fights, man. You know, and nobody's taking no risks. Julian Williams and one of the Charlo brothers can make a hot fight now, but no, the Brain Trust, the Al Haymans and the wannabe Al Haymans, they're angled and manipulating, trying to get to a title fight.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, why would Keith Thurman sign to someone like Al Heyman? If he's saying he wants to fight, why would he sign to Al Heyman? If Al is as bad as everyone's saying, why would you sign? Why do so much boxers sign to Al Heyman? Not just Keith Thurman. Why do so many of them sign to him?
Because Al can get money for virtually not taking any risk. Al Heyman's the guy to go to if you want to get money for taking a little risk.
So if we look at results, then that means all the fighters signed to him don't want to take the risk. So like it's down to the fight. The fighters are saying this is the easier path to resistance. Al Heyman.
Not that they don't want to take a risk. They want that money for not taking risks. They want the money. And Heyman say, this is the way we got to go if you're going to be with me. Now, I'll grease your palm, but you got to listen to what I say. And that's where it lies at. Money. Money, you know? And what boss is going to argue with you and say, look, I can get you Joe Blow for $60,000. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. If you can get me Joe Blow, John McGillicuddy for $60,000, what? You know, instead of fighting somebody else for $16,000, that's a rough fight.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I don't think boxing is sad to say. I don't think it can go back. Because if you get rid of Al Heyman, there'll be someone else doing exactly what he's doing, I assume. You know, Mike McCallum, he fought his first world title fight, he got $50 million against Sean Manning in the 80s. He got 50, and he said, I'll take the title and I'll try and make the bigger bucks later. You know? His wife just died, he's raising his kid. And he didn't complain. He didn't complain.
Yeah, Mike McCallum is a breed of another color, though. It's a breed of another color.
Yeah, but in saying he's a breed, he done that out of necessity, not because he wanted to.
Yeah, he did that out of necessity. But Mike McCallum had balls, too, because he got screwed his whole career. He got screwed his whole career. None of the top flight guys wanted to fight him, ducked him, dodged him, avoided him. So he never really got his just due.
No, he never.
What you doing your middleweight?
He's a Hall of Fame, you know? He got inducted in the Hall of Fame straight away, first ballot.
Yeah, he was a good fighter. He was a good fighter.
Yeah.
He was a very, very good fighter.
I mean, he won titles abroad, in France, England, defended, and like everywhere. Just, you know, that's a throwback fighter. That's a throwback fighter.
Throwback fighter.
You know?
Well, Ali, Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
You got Roy Jones. Roy Jones never wanted to fight outside of the United States until after his heyday.
Yeah.
Would never fight outside of the United States. Floyd Mayweather is the Las Vegas world champion.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I agree with that.
Floyd Mayweather is the world Las Vegas champion.
Yeah, Mr. Charles. Sorry, Mr. Bashir. Go ahead. Yeah, I know he's still doing something, but look, we're gonna get this clarified anyway, and get this thing sorted out. So we're gonna pump it out and let the people know that they've misread or miswritten ever, and
misquoted.
Misquoted. Yeah, and the retraction. We're gonna put it all out there to make people know that, you know what I'm saying, this is not though today, because they're trying to put you in a bad light. So we'll get it sorted. We'll get this sorted later on today.
Yeah, and put it on Facebook.
Yeah,
it'll be on everywhere. It'll be on Facebook on that person's wall.
Yep.
And so they can think, so they know that this is out, because no one would besmirch your reputation.
That's crazy.
Okay. So, before we close this broad, do you have any last words to Pulev and Team Pulev?
I believe that Pulev took a step down in my opinion, when he wrote that article, or his brain trust, trying to say that the heavyweight champion of the world is using drugs. I'll say it again. Anyone has a right to be suspicious of anyone. Who's to stop someone being suspicious? People are suspicious. All the people in the world are suspicious of their governments. Who stops somebody from being suspicious?
Yeah.
So because I said that he has a right to be suspicious doesn't mean that I'm on his bandwagon saying that, yeah, that here's the reason why you should be suspicious. He's a liar.
Yeah.
And it was a very cowardly thing to do, to say that I did something like that.
Yeah.
Or would do something like that. I wouldn't even do it to him. I wouldn't even do it to him. And I'm a part of Team Pulev. I got more respect for him being a fighter than to accuse him of such a thing like that. He should be ashamed of himself, or anybody else who was stooped to take words and manipulate the words and change them and say, yeah, Klitschko's trainer said this here. He's a liar and a coward for doing it there. It changed my view of him. I held him in esteem coming to your program, and now I don't think nothing of him. I think that he's just scared. The guy act like he's just scared. If you can beat Vladimir Klitschko, if you really believe you got a chance to get, then use your chance and take advantage of what you got, the tools that you have. Yep. But don't go and make up a nonsense BS story and say, oh, this is the guy that said that about him. That's nonsense, And for Anthony Joshua, he's got to be the norm. These guys got to raise their game, because right now he's the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. Not only is he a gold medalist, but he's running in the forefront of this thing. And him being so young, he got time to get better, time to mature. It remains to be seen if those people around him can take him to that level. We'll find out. We'll find out. But I believe in the guy. I believe the guy. And don't misunderstand me. I got a lot of respect for Dillian White too. I think that he also can be a threat. Again, with the proper tutelage, both of these guys can blossom into something really serious. I'm longing to see that. I'm really longing to see that. I want some action in the heavyweight division. I want somebody that's going to roll the dice, not somebody that's going around looking for has-beens, wannabes, and never will be's. I don't like that kind of stuff. You got a guy that's 31 and old fighting guys that's all beat up and used up and stuff. Fight somebody. Fight somebody. Most of these guys got amateur backgrounds. Come out and take some chances. Give the people back something for a change instead of people just paying for pay-per-view and pay for this and pay for that and pay for this and pay for that, and you're not fighting nobody. Thus far, Anthony Joshua is fighting what I perceive to be good competition. Not great competition, but not bad competition. Good competition. At this point in his career, would you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that he's fighting good competition?
I think he's fighting. Yeah.
It's adequate. I'll say the competition is adequate.
Each fight's a step up though. Each fight is a slow incremental step up. I think it's better competition. Each fight is a better competition. They don't look like though, but they're known because he's right now on the doorstep of European. Just on the doorstep of European already in a night fight.
Right.
That's pretty quick.
He's fighting Dennis Baktov next.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's on the doorstep of European already. So when you get into European rankings, you're already more or less there. So, like you said, Mr. Bashir, in a year's time, you should be challenging for the title. I don't think they're going to hold him back too long.
I wouldn't do it. I'd look at the progress of the fighter. I'd look at his attitude, and I'd work from there. If you got a guy that's not sure of himself, then you have to hold him back until he gains that much more confidence. But my being with Anthony Joshua for those weeks that I was with him, I don't get the the insecure thing. I don't get that he's afraid to try it. I think that he wants to roll the dice. I see it in his eyes. I see it in his being, in his actions, the way he carries himself. It's like he believes that he can do something. And when you get a guy that believes, I'm saying, let's put the car in drive and match the gas. Let's go. Let's go while the guy believes before he don't believe, and then you really got a problem.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So what I got from Joshua being around him, I said, his attitude, his persona tells me, I believe. I want to be there. I can see myself being there. So I'm saying, yeah, okay. I just saw where Latimer Klitschko said that Anthony Joshua was the next big thing in boxing. Latimer Klitschko said that in that same article, that Anthony Joshua would be the next big star in boxing. I get that from him. You know, I get that from him, the time that he spent there with. I get that from him. And I think that if you let the guy go while he wants to do it, when a guy believes, it's just nothing to replace that. There's nothing that replaces that kind of confidence.
Yeah, but you know, 8 fights, man. He's getting a lot of spotlight. There's a lot of attention. And we're saying he can do this. At this stage here, it's an unrealistic position.
I'll tell you something else. Who would have thought that Evander Holyfield would fight the white Muhammad Ali in his 12th fight and do that good?
Yeah, but the difference between Holyfield, he just matured really quickly. I mean, his debut against Eric Barnum, that guy was really his debut was really tough. He just matured really quickly. He's an anomaly, you know, and he started at cruiserweight.
I'm telling you, man, it's the mentality. You got to seize the moment when that mentality presents itself. Joshua is that guy. Joshua is that guy. He got that gleam in his eyes that said, I can beat this guy. I can do this. I can do that. And you've got to take advantage of that.
Okay. I'm going to take your word because you're the trainer.
George Foreman had how many fights when he won the title? Let's take a look at that. How many fights did George have?
16,
when he fought Frazier?
20 or something.
How many fights did he have?
20.
20?
Yeah, I think it was 20. 20 something.
Before he knocked out Frazier? I'm not even too sure.
5, man, or something like that.
I know it was majority KOs. I think maybe one fight might have went the distance, if that.
Yeah, and he had fought the likes of George Chuvalo in that mix.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, that's right, he did.
You understand? He had fought the likes of George Chuvalo in that mix. Isn't that taking a big bite off the log? To fight George Chuvalo inside that 25. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the 70s is a different era. Like, they were just Superman. That's the best era of heavyweights ever. They were like Superman, them guys. You know? I think boxers are a little more pampered now. I mean, if we were to put them through the same stuff, I think they'd be crying out. They'd be crying for their trainers to bail them out.
They say that life imitates art. But boxing, like life, is hypocritical in a lot of places because you can watch a boxing match and you can have a guy throw a left hook and say, oh my God, he just threw a wild, wide left hook. He just threw a wide left hook. It was very amateurish. Yeah, Bill, it was amateurish and this, that, and the other. And he needs to tighten up a little bit. But in the same instance, if he throws that left hook and it lands, now they're saying, well, did you see the left hook? He landed the left hook. He's down on the ground. He's done. Oh, my God, he's out. He knocked him out with a left hook. They dismissed the fact that the hook was amateurish. It was wide. It was this and that. They just concentrate on what it produced. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It produced the knockout. Yeah. So they just look past the fact that it was a wide hook, it was an amateur's hook, but the fact of the matter, it landed. That's why I say it's hypocritical. Because if it misses, it was amateurish, he shouldn't have done it, and they condemned him for it. But if it lands, all of a sudden it was good. It was a good thing.
Well, results always overshadow all opinion. Results always overshadow opinion. But Foreman had about 26 fights.
One of my favorite one of my favorite slogans is success has many fathers and failure is always an orphan. When a child is out playing baseball or whatever, you always got somebody in the audience saying, "That's my boy. That's my boy. I taught him everything he knows. That's my
That's
son.
true. That's true.
I did it. And I taught everything he knows." And let that same boy go out there and be causing strikeouts and fouls, and the same person get up and say, "Damn, that boy take right after my brother. He takes right after my brother. Damn, he take right after my just like my brother." Because success has many fathers, but failure is always an orphan. Bruce Lee said what? Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist, said that when asked the question, they said, "What's the best punch?" His response was, "The one that lands." You understand? So, you be damned if you do, and you be damned if you don't. Anthony Joshua is ready, man. Don't hold him back.
I just went on George Foreman's box rec. He had about 26 fights before he fought Frazier.
26 fights?
About 20, yeah, 20 plus.
But none of them went near, but none of them went past like the 5th round. Like,
yeah, but that was Joshua. Joshua went past 3.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. They haven't gone that low.
Okay. Now let's find out who do we think out there is going to give him that test where he can get past 7 rounds with him.
I like Luis Ortiz, man.
Oh, you can't put Anthony Joshua with Luis Ortiz right now.
I think so. I think he could hold his own. It wouldn't be bad for him. It's slow.
You know what? Anthony Joshua has the great neutralizer. You know what that is?
What's that?
Punching power.
Luis Ortiz has punching power as well.
Yeah, well, and he's a big guy too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's much slower. But he holds his hands up. He knows Luis Ortiz and knows how to cut down the ring.
Well, I want to see it.
It was some good fights. And so what? Did you see the Floyd fight against Madonna?
What fight?
Floyd Madonna 2.
What fight?
Oh, you trying it? You didn't see it. You didn't see it then.
No, he's sorry. He's just not impressed.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, there wasn't no fight. It wasn't no fight. Okay, I get you.
That was the force on how to be safe.
Oh man! But he went up until he got bit. He was actually giving it to him. Before he got bit, he was sticking it to him. It looked like he was gonna verge of stopping him.
If somebody bite me in the ring, I would run across that ring, and I would grab a hold through his ass, and I would sink my teeth there like I was eating a chocolate cake. And it would take the referee and the officials and everybody would take a crowbar. You better not bite me. If you bite me, the fight's over. I'm going to bite you back. I'll run across the ring, and I'll sink my teeth into you like I'm eating a chocolate cake. They need a construction crew to get me off your ass, man. Because I don't play that. If you bite me, I'm biting you back. That's all it is.
Yeah, Floyd took the other approach. He ran, man. He said, nah, I'm not biting. The last 12 round, he went on his bike. He just wanted to get out of the fight, man. Just wanted to get the fight over and done with, man.
That was a boring fight.
Yeah.
Fight was boring. Fight was boring.
So what do you think of Parnay Whitaker when he was doing these things? Did you used to like Parnay Whitaker then? Because like when I used to watch him, I didn't think he was too exciting either, you know.
No, he wasn't.
You think he's boring as well?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's being consistent. So what do you think about Michael Nunn then? Was he boring as well?
Michael Nunn was a little more entertaining to me.
Yeah. Just a little boy, yeah. But what when you see him versus Barkley though?
Michael Nunn against Barkley?
Yeah. He was doing a lot of running. Go on.
What?
No, I was saying in that fight he looked like he was doing a lot of running in that fight.
Can you blame him if he was in there with Barkley? I'd do some running too. Okay, I'll get with you guys later on, man.
All right, man, Mr. Bashir. We can't talk soon, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna look back on what you read on this article with this guy.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
no problem.
And I think the article saying that he's a creep. He's just a creep for writing something like that.
Yeah.
Later, man.
All right, later. Man.
Okay, later.